What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the two most recent things that we've been hearing regarding Scream 7. Number one is Courteney Cox reportedly returning. Some of them say like she's already locked in. Some of them say that she's in talks to return, so we can probably, check mark that one. We'll go back to that just in a second. The second one comes from Viewer Anon talking about when the movie is reportedly coming out, and he basically says that the movie is taking Scream 6's spot. So somewhere in that March 7th, 10th, 14th, right? That, I guess, early into mid-March period. And he just threw that out there, I think, because of another movie delay, and they delayed it from October to January, but not kind of all the way, right? Like maybe they would have put it into March if Scream 7 potentially wasn't going to appear there. So, all right, let's go back to the Courteney Cox Gale thing first, and then we'll talk about when the movie comes out. I mean, I believe it. I really believe both of these, right? But the Courteney Cox thing, I mean, you got the varieties of the world, etc., talking about it. So I think this is looking pretty likely. This is not shocking. I think a lot of us had expected something like this to happen. We'll have to talk about it more, as we get closer and closer. My first kind of gut reaction, I've seen people kind of go back and forth on this about her death, right? Like, would she die? I mean, we just kind of had to go through this with Scream 6, but I feel like it's possible because you have to have stakes. You have to kill off important people, and if you bring in this new cast, which, we talked about that last time, I mean, I'm sure some of them could die, but you can't kill Sidney, and that's also something we have to talk about, as we get closer to the movie coming out. Do you kill somebody like Gale? Now, I've always said no, but I feel like it might be on the table. If it's the last one, you have that kind of stake to it as well. It's definitely going to be interesting, but it's good to see. It's good to see. Now, I mean, from the anti-movement, I guess Courteney Cox better be ready to get attacked nonstop, but no, I think it makes sense, and I think it's good. I think, we talked about this. If you bring in Nev, and I mean, I wanted them to focus pretty heavily on her, even if you do a 50-50 split. You got to surround her with really the OGs. It doesn't make too much sense at this point to go off and, have all of these people being connected to Sidney's lives, right? They're kind of strangers or no names. It makes more sense to, we talked about Kirby and Gale and Mark and all that stuff. I think it makes sense to have as many of them, if not all of them, right, as possible. So that's definitely good. And then the movie's release. I mean, I guess it lines up. To be honest with you, it is looking, and I mean, I feel like it's kind of quieter because of the, what we've been dealing with, right? But I feel like it's very much set up to quite literally replicate Scream 6. And not only, the date obviously is familiar to us, right, as Scream 6, but this entire kind of schedule. We kind of skipped last year as opposed to Scream 5, but we skipped last year, and now this year, more and more, the rumored filming is in June, right? We've talked about kind of that summer period, so that's exactly when it started for Scream 6. If it goes from June to early September, you literally follow point by point, month by month, the blueprint of Scream 6. Movie comes out next March. That'd be nuts. I've long theorized, right? We've kind of gone back and forth, but my theory was always like maybe you hold it to like the fall of 25. But honestly, like there was the Matt and Tyler kind of interview that's come out over the last few days where even they talked about that. It sounds like they didn't want to leave, right? They left out of, they wanted to do it, but they also wanted to do new stuff. And the idea of waiting for them was not on the table. And why that's important is it just is more people saying that. We kind of already knew that, right? But the idea is they want this thing out quick, like very quick. So, I mean, I guess, again, my theory has always been, well, maybe you hold it to like the fall of 2025. No. I think they want this thing out as soon as possible. And you can't rush it. I don't ever want them to rush it. I mean, I guess, again, if they follow literally beat for beat what they did with Scream 6, you wouldn't really be rushing it. I think it'd be rushing it more if like you were filming it in the summer and you wanted it to come out in like December, January, right? So it should be okay. At least that part of it. Is the movie going to be good? Obviously, we've talked a little bit about that already, and I'm sure we will continue to, but I just don't want it to be rushed. It doesn't seem like it's going to be rushed. So it could be, I mean, at that point, we'd have a year. 1 year from right about now. In fact, actually a year from now, the movie might already be out, but we got about a year for all of this stuff to take place. It's going to be kind of nuts, got to be honest. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.